Hey, you guys, it's Halloween Eve, and we're hanging out with y'all, having a drink, and doing our regular shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Camera looks all right.
Well, I didn't touch it from last time.
Looks like you got it right.
I didn't touch it from last time.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
So it should
the lights
be
look like it's correct and everything.
totally fine.
Yeah.
So if everybody can see our little Tom and Jenny thing back there that Sophie gave us.
All right, so this movie was recommended by my friend Oscar Perez, and he recommended we see it. It's an Argentine horror movie. And it was good. It was pretty good. I liked it.
It was pretty fucking good, gotta say.
It's got 5 stars already on Shudder.
Five skulls. That's
pretty rare.
Yeah, usually just the classics get that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a well-written movie. It just goes to show you that as long as the writing is good and the acting is good, or at least fits the tone you're looking for, you don't need a whole lot of money to make a great movie. And just goes to show you that South America can make a movie. All right. We saw a Brazilian horror movie a couple years back. It was a ripoff. It was a comedy horror ripoff about Ghostbusters.
Remember that was pretty great.
It was hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, we did a review of that. I can't remember exactly the name.
Yeah.
Of it. It had like a long Ghost Beaters Meet Bloody Mary or something like that.
Yeah, it was good. This is a movie kind of like that, although I would probably put the tone closer to like the first couple seasons of The Walking Dead. A tone like
this
that.
is a very serious, grim movie. There's no humor in it. I don't really want to spoil too much because this movie is pretty much like brand new.
Yeah.
But it's not a happy time.
No.
You know what I mean? This is one of those ones that will just make you like hate life. Kinda.
And it's
a little bit.
It's not a zombie movie, but it's a similar tone to The Walking Dead. It's Argentina. They're gonna put another spin on it. Instead of zombies, this is possession. All right. A person can become possessed by a demon, and they become, what do they call it, a rotten one?
Yeah, they call them rottens or possessed ones.
Or possessed ones. And they have different abilities. And the rottens will just sit there and stink and swell up like a big old pus ball. And if you kill it, the spirit that's in it will just jump to another person and go out and commit all kinds of crimes or murders.
Or it'll stay in there and let the dead body walk around.
Yeah, it'll
but with all their memories and stuff like that.
So you can't really kill it in the normal way. You have to use exorcism. And there's a woman who shows up in this. She's got it down. It almost looks like the damn Antikythera mechanism. Some kind of a fucking brass-looking machine from another time. She assembles it. And she was going to do something to it, but they never actually got rid of any demons in this that I can think of. They just killed demons and they jumped into other bodies. They never exorcised any of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I meant about this having like a really grim tone. That's just kind of like, this isn't a kind of standard horror movie where it's like, oh, the monster's defeated at the end, or maybe not, you know, like if they set up a sequel or something like that. This is just like a very, very downbeat movie. It's just, like I said, it's just a really bad time.
I'm not sure it's over.
But I'm saying, well, yeah, but I'm saying that in a really good way, because this is like horror in its purest form. Yeah. I will say that it's like, and I'm not shitting necessarily on like a lot of American independent horror movies, because I've seen like a lot of really good ones recently, but it seems like foreign horror movies, man, they don't fuck around. And this movie does not fuck around.
Oh no, it kills kids. They kill animals.
Oh my god!
Everything bad happens. Everything bad that can happen does happen.
Pretty much. Like if you can think of like the worst fucking shit, that shit's gonna happen. It doesn't, like, nobody in this movie is safe. They were like, you know what I mean? They're gonna die in horrible, horrible ways.
People get possessed and then axe themselves to death in the face. All kinds of whole legions of little possessed kids taking over the schools and doing weird shit in there. And I couldn't catch all of it. I'd have to watch it again.
Yeah, because the lore of it is very rich.
It's hard to tell exactly what's going on.
You have to really pay attention to like all the conversations.
In the school, they had that original rotten patient number 1. He was buried underneath there.
Uriel was his name.
Yeah, were they trying to open some kind of portal or something?
I don't know. I don't think it. No, they weren't trying to open a portal.
Okay, what were the kids doing?
They were protecting him because he was the one that had the evil, the demon.
So they were just kind of protecting him and trying to keep him hidden. That way the disease could spread. possession could spread. Okay, I got you.
Danny Rowling said, was this film in theaters? It did get a limited theatrical release at the beginning of October. I don't think it played in this area because I was watching... I was over on Drum Dum's channel, and he reviewed this, and he really, really loved this movie. And he also lives in Orlando, and he said he wanted to see it in the theater, but it wasn't playing anywhere in the Orlando area, so he actually got a screener from Shudder. So it did play in theaters for a little while, but might have opened the same weekend as Exorcist Believer, actually. But it's on Shudder now. It just dropped on Shudder like 3 days ago.
Had this been released like by A24 or what's that other Blumhouse?
Or like Blumhouse,
this would have been one of their best movies of the year. This is like above that grade, I would think.
Yeah, this is way better than a Blumhouse.
Way
and I'm not shitting on Blumhouse.
They had okay stuff. Blumhouse got a good.
Yeah, they have
stuff.
like just good fun. Yeah. Like just kind of basic horror movies, but this is kind of like another level.
Yeah.
No,
it's in Spanish. But the subtitles are good, and a lot of people speak Spanish. Me knowing Portuguese, it's very understandable. The dialogue's not real complicated, and having the Spanish dialogue adds a lot of authenticity to the movie. It looks like they're in the Pampas somewhere out in the country.
Yeah, it's like super rural. I mean, some of it takes place in a town, but it's mostly like out in this rural area.
So you get to see, the Argentine countryside where the cows and the farmers are. And then you get to see suburban areas, and it's just some people have really fucking awesome pads. Some people just live like fucking in farmhouses that are all fucked up. They have a demon in it, So it's just a good flick, And the characters, the acting's really good, and the you can relate to the characters. It starts off, the main two characters they're hunting. They're out hunting.
It's two brothers.
They're two brothers. They're out hunting, and they find a body that looks like. Maybe attacked by an animal. And the other guy says,
half a body.
Half a body.
Just
no,
the legs.
This guy was cut in half. And then they, near the body, they had paperwork that referred to a house that was nearby, and the address and the people that lived there. So they took the paperwork and went to that house, and they found a rotten. And that guy was on the way over there to do the exorcism, and he got killed on the way. And that's where the adventure starts. That's just the first fucking few minutes.
What a great opening, because it just immediately, it just jumps right in. It's like the two brothers are in the house at night. They hear gunshots outside.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And then they're just kind of like,
the next day
they're like, that's not a hunting rifle. That sounds like a revolver. Yeah. And so it's like, in the morning, we need to go and check that out. Yeah. And then they find like legs, with intestines hanging out.
Lower torso.
Like a lower torso. And with all the paperwork and stuff.
And there's a good detail because the hunting dogs are with them, and the dogs are trying to lick it and get a bite, and they're kicking the dogs. Get away! No, trying to keep the dogs from eating the body, because that's what would happen.
Because that's what a dog would do. It's just like, ooh, yummy, raw meat. Yeah, so, I thought that was a nice.
A lot of these nice little details, and the tone's real serious, and they just say, "Oh yeah, it's a rotten." And what they're talking about.
Well, and it seems
they
like
just take it for granted that that demons can show up and possess people. Well, that's great, because that was just like out of The Walking Dead. You saw the dead, The Walking. They didn't even explain it. It's just you're supposed to know what a zombie is. Well, they're making their own lore here. It's like a possessed person and it can spread.
It seems like in the universe of this movie, everybody knows what a rotten is, or like what a possessed one is. It's not like the world isn't overrun or anything like that.
No,
like it seems
they appear
like
sometimes.
It seems like the world is like normal.
Yeah.
But everybody knows what these are, and they even have like little like rhymes and stuff about what you're supposed to do, like if you encounter one and stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of the landowners get pissed because of outbreaks happening in their land, and they said, in the past the Argentine government used this as an excuse to confiscate their land and steal land.
Right.
So there's even talk about like government corruption.
So there's like a little bit of it. I don't even know if I'd call that a subplot, but it is something that's kind of brought up.
That's one of the reasons why they try to hide. That's why they were trying to hide the fact that an outbreak had happened. They didn't want their land, or at least one guy, he didn't want his land to get confiscated. Remember?
Yeah. Ruiz, that guy's name was. Yeah. But I like that they had, because, okay, if you just read, I went into this, I knew that, Oscar recommended it, and I had heard a lot, because a lot of the horror channels that I watch, I hadn't watched any reviews of it, because I don't do that, like, before I watch a movie, but I had seen a lot of the horror channels that I subscribe to, covering this movie. So it's very, very buzzy. Like, a lot of people are talking about this right now, like in the horror community. And I think it premiered, like I said, this is very new. I think it just premiered at a film festival in Toronto, like at the end of September. And then it got a little bit of a theatrical release at the beginning of October, and then it just came out on Shudder on October 27th. But so a lot of people are talking about it, and it's, if you just read the little sentence that describes what it's about, it says it's a possession movie, which it kind of is.
Nothing like you're used
to. But
though.
It's not like you're thinking.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's not like The Exorcist or not anything like that. Yeah, it's a demon, but it doesn't, the mechanics of it are not the same as what you would see in a more traditional possession type movie. And it almost has, I want to say it almost has slight aspects of like a zombie movie too, but not quite. Just in the sense of it's like an infection, because the demon can move from person to person. The demon can like fuck with your mind, like make you think things. It can be in more than one person at once. The person that it's in doesn't have to be alive. Like, its influence can kind of spread, like, so it's like a disease in that sense.
And no, they're asking if it's Brazilian. It's not Brazilian. It's an
Argentinian,
movie. Argentinian. You can say it either way. It's good. It's real good. It's not like The Exorcist.
At all. I mean, really.
No, more like The Walking Dead, really.
Yeah, it's more like infection.
Early Walking Dead, when Walking Dead was good. More like that. But instead of walkers, they got things kind of like a walker, but they can do things more along the lines of what you saw in The Exorcist. They could possess other people, drive people crazy, control animals slightly. They can do paranormal phenomenon, but they have limits too. They're not all powerful. It's pretty. It doesn't spread through biting. It just They can just steal a body if you do the wrong thing.
Yeah, because like I said, there's all these, because in the universe of this movie, everybody knows what these are.
Yeah.
And most people know kind of the general rules of dealing with them, like all the shit that you're not supposed to do, like, or you'll make it worse.
Like, you can't destroy the body.
Yeah, you can't just kill the person.
You can't just kill it.
That makes it worse, and that comes up like a lot of times.
Yeah, if you just kill it, the spirit will jump out of there and go into you or another person.
Or like I said, it can make the dead body walk around too.
You can do that too. And when it goes into another person, it knows everything of that other person, and it starts using psychological warfare on you.
And it can kind of act like that other person too. So it has a little bit of, so it has a little bit, I don't want to go too far in this direction, but it has a little bit of an aspect of The Thing where you're never really sure who's being influenced by the demon at any one time. It was doing that
in The Exorcist too. Remember when it was
talking? That's true.
He's going, Demi, why'd you leave me, Demi? It does shit like that.
Yeah, it does that kind of stuff. But like I said, it's not super similar to The Exorcist though. Even though it is slightly a possession story. Yeah. I like too that they don't really explain this, which in a way is good, because I would rather movies err on the side of not explaining things rather than over explaining. You know what I'm saying?
It's better not to say anything.
So it's better, but in the universe of this movie, the church is not an option, and several characters at some point say things like God is dead or the church is dead, or it doesn't matter. So it's not like, oh, we'll just call the priest and like we'll solve this little problem. They're not, for some reason, they're not around anymore, or they're not effective anymore, or nobody believes in it anymore.
Yeah.
So you have to go about things like in a different way. But there's still kind of a supernatural, quasi-religious maybe thing that you have to like kill the demon with. You can't just kill it like you would kill a normal person.
Yeah. There's a character that appears later on. She's a middle-aged woman, and she has some kind of a machine that can destroy him. There's a blade involved. You got to stick it in the back of its neck, and then this system of wheels and a lens, and it's got all these fucking glyphs on it and everything. You have to reminded me of the Antikythera mechanism, just a bunch of gears and shit. And I think it was on a tripod or something.
Yeah.
And she assembled it, and it was some old machine made out of brass that could kill it. You had to find like patient 0, the one where the outbreak came from.
Had started,
where it started. You have to find that, and then you got to stick a blade in the back of its head, and then you had to point at it and look at it through the lens, and the glyphs had to be right. They never explained it. They just
They just had it, and everybody knew what it was.
Everybody knew what it was. So it's better to just fucking go, yeah, don't explain it. Just show it.
See, yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I liked. I liked that a lot of the stuff, because like I said, this was a little bit, obviously they had to explain a little bit about the lore, and I think they did it pretty creatively when, the two brothers, after they kind of like fuck up and cause the demon infestation to spread a little bit through kind of that's not stupidity, but they're just like hot-headedness, I guess. And so they decided, we're going to get the fuck out of here. Maybe we can get out of the range of the demon possession. So they decide they're going to go into town and like pick up their family members, like kids and moms and stuff. And the mom, at one point, like the old lady, she explains to the son, like the little kid, like about what the Rottens are and about what the rules are and stuff. So this is something that everybody knows. But they don't, like I said, they don't explain like why everybody knows this, but I like that. I liked that it was just the lore and they just kind of laid it out for you and they're just like, and that's the way it is, just watch it. You know what I mean? I like that they didn't kind of
Well, that's better.
Yeah.
Because almost explaining it too much is almost kind of like a demonstration of insecurity of your story.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
You just drop your nuts. This is how it is. And it now has gravitas.
Yeah.
The machine that they used, it just had symbols on it, a bunch of gears. The symbols look like something from alchemy, alchemical symbols. And I just immediately bought it. Okay, that's the demon killing machine. And it's just a little tool that they had. Came out of a damn chest, all wooden and everything. Handmade looking, hand machined looking thing. Look like it came from the early 1800s or something. Or maybe early 1900s. And I just bought it. You're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what that is.
So that's what kills it.
Yeah, you don't got to explain how it works or who made it or nothing like that.
To explain it, you're now cheesifying the fucking movie because how are you going to come up with an explanation for that? You're not going to.
Yeah, just don't.
Just fucking say, this is what it does. And just drop your nuts with it. Go, that's okay. I'll buy it now because it's just the way it looked. It looked good. So that'll kill it.
Well, and the thing about this movie, because this movie, even though it's supernatural, it's so grounded in reality that pretty much everything that happens in it, you totally buy it.
Yeah.
Because it seems so realistic.
Yeah.
Like, nothing is outlandish. There's not, people flying around or floating. There's nothing crazy like that.
There's some weird shit, man, what the dog did.
But it didn't do anything that a dog couldn't normally do. You know what I mean?
Things are coming back to life, or at least they seem to come back to life. You say, man, that person got killed. Who is that? That's not the same person. It's just, there's illusion, and you don't really know if the main characters in the end, you don't know how sane they are. That's another thing. Because
you don't know how much effect the demon is having on them too. Because like I said, it's almost like an infection.
Yeah.
And it can kind of like alter your mind.
Yeah. The heroes of the story, the main guys in the story, they know what they have to do, but they don't seem to be able to do it.
Well, and that's another thing that
you don't know if that's demons infecting them,
or if they are just overwhelmed.
You don't know. Which I think is good to leave it vague.
That's why I think this is such a great movie, because it's tragic.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of like these guys. I mean, they're not great dudes. Like, you find out but not so much. Like the one guy, Jimmy or Jaime or whatever his name is. Like, he seemed okay, but like the other guy, Pedro. I mean, he hadn't paid child support, and he was just kind of, But, I mean, they were both, like, just decent dudes overall.
He had a damn restraining order against him.
Yeah, he had a restraining order against him.
The cops like, what are you doing around
from
here,
his ex-wife.
You can't be here,
So he's not, like a sterling example of personhood, but...
He's just an average guy.
But he was trying to do right by his family. He was trying to rescue his kids, like, because they were at the ex-wife. She had remarried and stuff. And so he was trying to save them. But it's like... Because of, like I said, it's not stupidity, but because of like hot-headedness or not like unwillingness to listen to other people's advice or just kind of getting overwhelmed, he keeps fucking up. And then it just seems like I was watching this one review that said like he keeps fucking up and he just keeps getting horribly punished for fucking up. And it makes it really tragic because he's so relatable. He's not a bad guy. He's not stupid. But it's just kind of like he makes decisions that he thinks are maybe the right thing to do, but he's just messing it up. And it just gets worse and worse and worse as the movie goes on.
Some of that stuff, though, I was under the impression that that the demons weren't allowing him to do the right thing.
It might have been that too.
There might have been a little bit of demon possession involved. It's hard to say.
Because there's that one scene, like I said, I'm trying not to spoil too much about it. It's hard to talk about if you can't really, but there's the one scene where he gets the phone call from the ex-wife.
Yeah.
And she's saying certain shit, and it's kind of implied that the demon is getting into his head, like the stuff that he said, like
and
afterward.
he knows the ex-wife is dead, and he's listening to it.
Yeah.
You know, he's paying attention. He eventually he comes to his senses, you know, and breaks the phone. But he also knows that you can't kill these things physically. It'll just jump into another person.
Yeah, and it'll just make it way worse.
He loses it and kills them.
That's what I mean. He just makes like stupid decisions in the heat of the moment because his heightened emotion.
I wasn't sure if the demons possessed him and made him kill that body, so it could jump out.
Right, that's another possibility.
Because it was always at a moment when it would be in the demon's advantage to get out of that body.
Yeah, it was like, so it could have been influencing him.
I think it might have been influenced a little bit. So he was getting frustrated. And he'd get frustrated and fuck up some more shit. But I think that might have been demonic influence.
Yeah.
Because they were rational. They knew what the rules were.
Yeah.
But they couldn't follow the rules. He was on his own, too, so there wasn't other people to stop him.
Yeah. So. I mean, because for a lot of the time, like I said, at first it was him and his brother. But then, like, him and his brother kind of... I mean, they were together a lot of the time, but they kind of separated because the brother, Jaime, goes off to pick up their mom, like, from town, because they don't even tell her what's going on. They're just like, we need to get out of town. Let's go. And she's just like, okay. So he goes and does that, and then Pedro goes to his ex-wife's house. Like, he's not going to save his ex-wife. He didn't give a shit about her, but they had two kids together, and so he's going to go to the house and take them. You know what I mean? And he does try to convince, like, the wife and the new husband. I think the husband's name was Leonardo. Yeah. And the wife's name was Sabrina. So they were gonna, he kind of told them what was going on, and it's like, you know, we really need to get the fuck out of here. But of course they didn't believe him. So he's like, well, I don't give a shit. I'm taking my two sons. One of whom is severely disabled. But he's autistic. Like, and he's, like, nonverbal, you know what I mean? And so that kind of plays into the shit later on too. I don't want to spoil that because that was kind of fucked up. Like,
yeah, there's certain rules about what happens to demons when they try to possess autistic people. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I really liked all of the
little details.
Yeah, all of the details, all the lore they put in this. Like I said, it's kind of like a possession movie. It kind of has aspects of a zombie movie, kind of. But it is kind of its own thing. So I like that they had all these rules about it, and they told you what they were, but they didn't, like, belabor it. They didn't, like, over-explain. Now, I will say, this was, if I didn't mention it before, this was directed by Demián Rugna, I think is how you pronounce his name. He also directed the 2017 movie Terrified, which if you haven't seen that, please watch it. It is fucking awesome. And if you liked that movie, like if you've seen Terrified from 2017, and you really liked that, then you will probably love this as well. It's kind of a different story, but it's along the same lines. And like I said, I like that this movie, it's just like there's just no... It's not really a spoiler alert. There's just... no happy endings for anybody.
No, they're seeing these sounds like demons in certain other movies. The closest thing to it in terms of the rules of the demons would be kind of like what's the name of it? Fucking the one with Ash.
What, Evil Dead?
Evil Dead. It's a lot like Evil Dead,
but not funny.
But not the same tone.
Not zany.
Yeah, not you know.
Totally serious.
But the rules
and
are
grim.
similar to what you would see in the Evil Dead. They're doing things kind of like that,
where it hopped from person to person.
Yeah, and
like,
it could do weird phenomenon and stuff.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that.
Take over you know, kind of like the Evil Dead, but the tone is more like the first couple seasons of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, just like good. Super grim and like a huge bummer and everything.
Hugo's going, man, I should watch this one. Yeah, watch it.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's real good. Yeah. And honestly, like on Rotten Tomatoes, it has 99%.
Yeah.
And every single horror channel like that I watched a review of this, all of them loved it and said it was their favorite horror movie of the year so far.
And it's left open, so there definitely could be a sequel, because it doesn't really there's not really a conclusive end to it from what I remember.
Well, it kind of had. Yeah, that's true.
The main character was still alive at the end. Wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Something could have, but the thing is that the thing they were trying. I'll go ahead and say it. The demons were trying to make sure this thing was born. Okay, this creature was going to be born. I guess it's kind of like the Antichrist. It was unclear.
Yeah, that's kind of the closest equivalent I can think of, like an Antichrist like type figure, where it was like it looked like a person, but it was like a demon in human form. I guess.
And it does eventually get born, but you don't see it after it gets born, really.
Well, you do see it for a minute.
Yeah, but not much. But it's not really a character. You just see it. It does some things, and then you don't see it anymore. But that's towards the end of the movie. So. What they were trying to stop, they weren't able to stop. They were just now fucking like in despair because they were fucked because that thing got born, but it was not resolved.
I mean, so despair. That's a good word for the tone of this movie.
They were just like, fuck. But they did. But it's not. There wasn't a conclusion to it. You could do a second movie.
Yeah, you could expand this universe.
Expand it out. Talk about the thing that got born and what the demons were doing because. There was enough of them to where they were, like I said, protecting each other.
Although I kind of like if it would just be a one-off, you know what I mean? Because I don't want them to like keep doing sequels and like ruining it, you know.
Well, that's what usually happens.
That's what I mean. But I am saying that this would have a possibility of.
They demonstrated good writing in the first one. Good writers can get 3 good movies out of something like this.
Yeah, I would agree.
We start going for 4, 5.
Then you're stretching things a little bit thin.
Right, but you could write a really good trilogy around this.
Danny Rowling said, is there actual demon-looking monsters in the film or just humans possessed? There are no monster-y looking things, really. Like I said, this is very grounded in reality, which in my opinion makes it scarier because it's not like a kind of thing where it's just like, bleh, like there's big fucking monster, you know what I mean? Like they kind of look like people still, but like zombies.
They're kind of like a zombie.
Kinda. But they're not shuffling or groaning or anything like that. They still can talk and shit like that.
Yeah.
But it's not real over the top. But like I said, to me that kind of made it scarier because everything was just
looks like something could happen.
Realistic. Like it looked like something that could really happen. Like they really kept it.
Yeah, and there were also people that were possessed. They were kind of borderline. You're not sure how human they still were. They seemed human, but they were under the influence of these things.
Yeah, I mean...
They weren't undead or anything.
Right. And the thing about this movie, too, now, I'm going to say, if you're not real into gore or real, like, disgusting shit, you might want to give this one a pass. Because there's some pretty gross shit in this movie. There's some pretty gross shit in this movie, and it's not the grossest thing I've ever seen, but there was some kind of gross stuff in there. And there's a couple scenes in here that were pretty fucked up. Like, especially if you don't like movies that have really horrible shit, like happening to children and stuff like that, then again, you might want to give this one a pass because...
Yeah, these demons kill children.
Because nobody is safe in this fucking movie, and the movie also does not shy away from showing it.
Yeah, they're not demons. They're demon-possessed people.
Yeah.
They look kind of like a zombie. They can look like anything, though. They can look totally normal.
Yeah.
They can control... I guess they can influence your mind to see what they want you to see. It's just, because some of them look totally normal, but you know that person who had been crushed by a car. Why do they look perfectly normal?
Why are they fine?
Right, yeah.
So you're not entirely sure if the demon is right, if like the demon is making you see that, or if the really person, or if the demon like possessed the corpse and made it look fine again, or what.
It's unclear.
And like I said, I kind of like that they left that ambiguity there because it's like it makes it a lot scarier because you don't know, is this person okay or what's going on with that.
I got a feeling they can make you see visions.
Because they did mention that they could kind of like fuck with your mind and get inside your head and stuff. Like they did kind of say about that. Danny Rowling said it sounds like the Italian film Demons and the Possessed, but it is a little bit like that. That movie was a little more over the top in the sense of I guess they still look like people, but they look like a lot more monstrous, I guess. In this one, the only one that looked really monstrous but still looked like a person was the first guy. Uriel, like in the house, because he was just this massively obese
Pus bag.
With like pus-filled sores and boils, and
looks like he was filled with pus.
It was pretty fucking nasty, gotta say.
And he'd been like that for a long time.
Pretty fucking nasty.
He's been like that for a long time.
I mean, yeah. So there's a lot of and a lot of the reviews that I watched were like, you might not want to eat while you're watching this. Which I get it. Like I said, it's not the grossest thing I've ever seen, but there is like some kind of nasty shit in here. And there were some scenes, when we were watching this where we were like, holy shit, you know what I mean? Like out loud. So there is kind of, so if you have been, kind of crying about like this lack of good horror movies and blah blah, this is a really fucking good one. I mean, I really, really dug it. And like I said, if you haven't seen his other movie, Terrified, from 2017, please see that too, because that's excellent. I don't think I've seen it, but you haven't seen it. You'd probably really dig that too. If you liked this movie, you'd probably really like that one. That's kind of more, it's kind of similar to this one, but it's kind of more like slightly more paranormal haunting type of thing, but it's like a whole block that's like, so there's kind of like some poltergeisty type activity and like people coming back from the dead and stuff. But it's really, really, that's really, really good too, and really creepy. But yeah, so this is, like I said, it's on Shudder. It might still be playing in theaters, but I doubt it, because it seems like Exorcist Believer came out, and I don't know how well that's been doing, but it seemed like that played everywhere, and this only played like in a very limited release, and probably only for a week or two, which is kind of sad. Because a lot of the channels were like, if it's playing in a theater near you, please go see it in the theater, like, because support more of these, because if you pay to watch these kind of movies, then they'll make more of them. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. Like, a lot of these foreign films are fucking killing it. Most of the best horror movies I've seen, I don't want to say, well, I think the larger aggregate of, like, the best horror movies I've seen lately have probably been foreign films.
It was the writing.
Yeah, this was very, very well written and very well acted. Yeah. I really liked
writing. Yeah.
I really liked the interaction between the two brothers specifically, who are like the main characters, and like their interactions with their neighbor Ruiz, like when they decided they were gonna fix this problem themselves, but made it like exponentially worse because they couldn't control their emotions, like I said. So there was just
it's writing, direction, edit, acting, but the main thing I think what it's got going for was the writing, story. It was tight. It was tight. Yeah.
And it's only an hour and a half long, and to me, I didn't think any of it dragged. No. I mean, I thought it was paced really, really well.
Yeah. It's adventurous.
Yeah. I mean, I really dug it. Danny Rowling said, this film sounds a lot better than the new Exorcist film. We have not seen the new Exorcist film, but from what I've been hearing, this movie is probably like 100 times better than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I can't speak personally because I haven't seen the new Exorcist, but just from the general reaction of the horror community, a lot of people don't really seem to like the new Exorcist movie. And I even had specifically a few of the channels I watched said this movie was like 1,000,000 times better.
Yeah. So the problem with a lot of the new movies, this is just Hollywood studios in general, just America's, not all of them, but a lot of the American studios in general, is that they can't fucking write. The stories themselves are not very interesting, and the writing is not good, and it's just, they'll look great. They'll have good special effects. But the characters in the story it's probably written by AI and then directed by people who don't really give a shit about the story. It's just like something that's been shit out of a factory, And I kind of think that that it's very vanilla, and they're afraid of telling any kind of story that might be sensational or might piss people off. So they just play it safe. Everything's just about playing it safe, which means you have some boring fucking movie. This movie doesn't give a shit. It does not give a shit. It's just going to tell you the story. You don't like it? You can fuck right the fuck off. They don't care. They're just going to tell you this story, and they're not even going to explain things.
That's what I mean. This movie really does not fuck around.
They don't give a shit. It's like, oh, you like little kids? Well, we're going to fucking fuck these little kids up. Oh, you don't like you like
multiple
dogs?
Little kids.
Dog's going to get fucked up. Goat's going to get fucked up. Just everybody's gonna get fucked up in this movie. Fucking, you don't. Oh, it's not polite, and fuck you. We'll do more of it. Just that kind of,
But not like in an edgelordy kind of way.
No, it's not doing it on purpose. Like I said, happens. It's just normal.
It just comes across as just like a very grounded, like I said, like a very grounded, realistic story. This is the way it happened, and it was like horrible and shitty, like all of the stuff that happened. But this is how it happened. Like, it's just, I liked that tone of it.
Yeah, and they're not trying to make any kind of overarching fucking social statement or anything. They're just telling you a story of what happened, and it was fucked up. That's it. That's it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have Shudder, please watch this, because it's really, really good. And so thank you, Oscar, for recommending that. I don't think he's here right now, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a fucking really good one. And like I said, if you haven't seen Terrified, please see that as well, because that is also excellent. I might show that one to Tom at some point. I don't think we've ever reviewed it. I saw it a couple years back, but I think you probably dig that too, like I said, if you like this one, because it's the same director. But, did you want to... Well, tomorrow's Halloween, so did you want to say anything about... we went to a Halloween party on Saturday night, like in our costumes. I did my Fright Night Amy outfit, which at least 2 or 3 people like knew what it was, so that's good.
What's up, Pope?
And it was pretty fun, gotta say. Music was good. Not as many people dressed up as I was hoping, but there were a couple of good costumes. I liked the dude that was dressed like a member of Devo with the yellow jumpsuit and the hat and the flower pot hat. Our friend Toby dressed up as a incubus.
Yeah.
Which was like a leather daddy incubus, which was like super cool. He had like fucking big
wings
horns and devil wings and shit like that.
I don't think he had a tail though, but he had a bunch of bondage gear on.
Yeah. I did like the
devil mask.
I did like the horns though.
Yeah.
And then
his beard's getting long, man. He's got fucking beard, looks like Leonidas or some shit from fucking 300.
Oh, and
his
that little
beard started looking like a damn Viking not a Viking.
It does, yeah.
Like a damn Greek helmet or something.
And then that little girl, I can't remember what her name is, but she dressed up like Herbert West.
Yeah.
Like she had a little lab coat and like a green thing full of
the
so for the thing. And then I'm trying to think of like some of the other costumes that were good. Our friend Mike was Captain Spaulding.
Yeah. He looked just like him.
He did actually.
Yeah.
He even had that T-shirt with the hot dog on the front, and then on the back it said, if I wanted to hear from an asshole, I'd fart.
Yeah.
And who else? I can't remember who else.
What you doing, Poke?
I know that there was like some other good costumes, but I can't remember what they were at the moment. Oh well. But yeah.
That's good. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna put up a video tomorrow. Okay, I was gonna do for Halloween. I was gonna do my history of horror movies that I've been wanting to do, but I didn't finish it. Like I said, I don't want to rush it because, it's a lot. It's a long thing. Like, so I've got most of the script written, but I haven't, I don't want to rush it. I want it to be good. So I'm just going to save that for a little bit later. But I did do a video about a horror movie set on Halloween. So I'm going to tell you what it is. But I'm going to put that up tomorrow. So, because I wanted to put something up for Halloween. You know what I mean? Because we don't stream on Halloween. So, on Tuesdays. So, have a look out for that. Because I'll be putting that up. And have a look out, like, later on, like, maybe in a couple weeks for my history of horror movies. Because I am going to finish that. I just didn't get a chance to finish it before Halloween because I just didn't have time. And like I said, I didn't want to rush it because I don't want to fuck it up. So, yeah. So, everybody have a good Halloween tomorrow. And we will see you guys again on Wednesday night when we're going to be talking about, and was it Victor that recommended this topic? It might have been Victor. I can't remember. We're going to be doing the disappearance, quote unquote, of Richard Simmons.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot who recommended that.
I thought
though, people wanted to talk about Richard Simmons.
I thought it was Victor. Now, you know what? There's a whole podcast series about it, which I got to listen to tomorrow or Wednesday. And there's a Hulu show, like a mini series about it, which I might have to watch.
They don't know where he is either.
Well, we'll get into that. Okay. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to research some more of that because I read through some notes about it today, and then that's when I found the podcast and the Hulu show and everything like that. So yeah, Danny Rowling said it was Zach probably. I thought it was Victor, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be talking about on Wednesday night. So hopefully you guys can join us for that, and we will see you again then. Good night.